Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyadesh Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to our daily morning glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam. Before we start on our verse today, many of you might have known and heard already that our dear Sri Ram Vijay Prabhu has departed from this mortal world, and we pray that he progress further in his spiritual journey. He received his destination at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada at the service of Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. So we'll try and dedicate our Bhagavatam session today in glorification of Sri Ram Vijay Prabhu. Prabhu, can we please have the verse on the screen? So we are reading Canto 2, Chapter 1, and we'll be discussing verse 12 today. Verse 12. Kim pramattasya bahubhi parokshe hayanir-iha varam muhurtam viditam ghatate shreyashe yataha. Kim pramattasya bahubhi parokshe hayanir-iha varam muhurtam viditam ghatate shreyashe yataha. Kim pramattasya bahubhi parokshahayaniriha varam muhurtam viditam ghatate shreyasheyataha. Synonyms. Kim, what is? Pramattasya, of the bewildered. Bahubihi, by many. Parokshe, inexperienced. Hayane, years. Iha, in this world. Varam, better. Muhurtam, a moment. Viditam, conscious. Ghatati, one try for. Sreyashe, in the matter of supreme interest. Yataha, by heart. Translation. What is the value of a prolonged life which is wasted, inexperienced by years in this world? Better a moment of full consciousness, because that gives one a start in searching after the supreme interest. Would anyone like to read the purport, please?
I can read. Srila Sukadev Goswami instructed Maharaj Parikshit about the importance of chanting of the holy name of the Lord by every progressive gentleman. In order to encourage the king,
Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Sukadev Goswami instructed Maharaj Parikshit about the importance of chanting of the holy name of the Lord by every progressive gentleman. In order to encourage the king, who had only 7 remaining days of life, Srila Sukadev Goswami asserted that there is no use of living hundreds of years without any knowledge of the problem of life. Better to live for a moment with full consciousness of the supreme interest to be fulfilled. The supreme interest of life is eternal, with full of knowledge and bliss. Those who are bewildered by the external features of the material world are engaged in animal propensities of eat, drink, and be merry type of life, simply wasting their lives by unseen passing away of the valuable years. We should know, in perfect consciousness, the human life is bestowed upon the conditioned soul to achieve spiritual success. And the easiest possible procedure to attain this end is to chant the holy name of the Lord. In the previous verse, we have discussed this point to a certain extent. and we may further be enlightened in the different types of offenses committed unto the feet of holy name. Srila Jiva Goswami has quoted many passages from authentic scriptures and has ably supported the statement in the matter of offenses at the feet of the holy name. From Vishnu Yamala Tantra, Srila Jiva Goswami has proven that one can be liberated from the effects of all sins simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Quoting from Markandeya Purana, Sri Goswamiji says that one should neither blaspheme the devotee of the Lord nor indulge in hearing others who are engaged in belittling the devotees of the Lord. A devotee should try to restrict the vilifier by cutting out his tongue, and by being able to do so, one should commit suicide rather than hear the blaspheming of the devotee of the Lord. The conclusion is that one should neither hear nor allow vilification of the devotee of the Lord. As far as distinguishing the Lord's holy name from the names of the demigods, the revealed scriptures describe, VG 10.41, that all extraordinarily powerful beings but part and parcel of the supreme energetic Lord Krishna, except for the Lord himself. Everyone is subordinate. No one is independent of the Lord. Since no one is more powerful than or equal to the energy of the Supreme Lord, no one's name can be as powerful as that of God. By chanting the Lord's holy name, one can derive all stipulated energy synchronized from all sources. Therefore, one should not equalize the supreme holy name of the Lord with any other name. Brahma or Shiva or any other powerful god can never be equal to the Supreme Lord Vishnu. The powerful holy name of the Lord can certainly deliver one from unskillful effects, but one who desires to utilize the transcendental potency of the holy name, the Lord in one's sinister activity is the most degraded person in the world. Such persons are never excused by the Lord or by the agent of the Lord. One should therefore utilize one's life glorifying the Lord by all means without any offense. Such activity of life, even for a moment, is never to be compared to a prolonged life of ignorance, like the lives of the tree or other living entities who may live for thousands of years without prosecuting the spiritual advancement. Bhaktivedanta Purport ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Jaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Shevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So if we coming back to the verse again, and let's just try to analyze the text here. Kim pramatasya bahubi parokshahayena iha. So this line basically poses a rhetorical question that what is the use of many years of life in this world by one who is bewildered? Pramatasya is the term that is used, and whose prayers are wasted. Paroksha. So basically, the verse talks about quality versus quantity. And the word pramatasya here is quite significant because that describes a person who is absorbed in material pursuits is ignorant of their spiritual identity. And then I think this is the topic we discussed in one of our previous discussion as well. And then another term that is used in this verse is parokshayanihi. That means by years of inexperienced or unseen times that passes by without real gain or self-knowledge, they are essentially lost or wasted. So regardless of how many years are spent in spending in eating eating, be merry and happy. If the life is not used for the spiritual inquiry, if the light is not used for the spiritual progress, then all these years are wasted. And then the second line says, Varam Murhutam Viditam Gatati Shreyasha Yadaha. So this line is kind of an answer to the first line, which is, that means a better, a single moment, Muhurtam. Muhurtam term here is used, which is, it is basically, we have heard commonly that, this Muhurtam is better or this Muhurtam is good. It basically means that roughly 48 minutes. So, Sukadeva Goswami here is saying that roughly 48 minutes is far better if it is used in a spiritual search compared to the life wasted in material enjoyment. And roughly 48 minutes here, basically here, Prabhupada translate that as a moment or a very short period of time that is used in a spiritual search is far better. And here another word that is used is Sreyasha. Sreyasha basically refers to the supreme, the ultimate benefit, the ultimate interest. And what is the understanding? What is the ultimate benefit? Ultimate benefit is basically a self-realization, a liberation, or deliverance from the cycle of birth and death. So the crux or the core message of this verse is that a long life devoid of a spiritual inquiry is valueless, and it is compared to, as the last line of the purport said, that it is compared to the lives of the trees or even other non-human entities who lives for centuries but make no spiritual progress. And now I feel that this verse is actually, so the context of this verse is spoken by Sukadeva Goswami in response to the inquiry made by Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj asked, we all know, Parikshit Maharaj asked a question, what is the duty of the people in general and specifically a person who is about to die? Srimad Vijay Prabhu has just left, and I feel this verse or the answer to this verse or the current discussion that is happening is actually put in a perfect place for us to think, to meditate, and to introspect. In verse 6, Parikshit Maharaj says, in verse 6 of this chapter, Parikshit Maharaj, Sukadeva Goswami answers that the highest perfection of life is Ante Narayana Smriti. That highest perfection of life is to remember the Lord at the end of the life. Then he continues in the later verses that if one faithfully hears Srimad Bhagavatam, then one develops unflinching faith towards the Lord. And then the yesterday's verse, or the verse that we have been discussing the whole week, verse 11, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord is doubtless and fearless way of success. So the processes are described by by Sukadeva Goswami. Parikshit Maharaj, hearing this verse 12 is kind of a response to a question that is not cited here, is like Sukadeva Goswami is giving all these procedures, but Parikshit Maharaj says, I have only 7 days to live. And response to that, Sukadeva Goswami gives is, 100 years of life doesn't matter if they are devoid of a spiritual inquiry. In only a moment, surcharge of a spiritual inquiry is enough to attain the full consciousness. So this is an encouragement, an assurance given to Parikshit Maharaj by Sukadeva Goswami, that 7 days is never too late. And then Prabhupada in the purport talks about the offenses that one commits against the holy name, and that prolongs their life here because we are not sincere, or because we are not sincere about our spiritual practices. We maintain material attachments. We knowingly or unknowingly do those offenses, and hence we don't get the complete result. I will not discuss into the offenses at length at the moment because we have already discussed them over till yesterday. What I want to discuss is that everything. So if we summarize the topic or the theme that is going on, we are taught and reminded time and again about death. We are taught and reminded time and again that what should be our consciousness at the time of death. And we are given practices, processes that needs to be undertaken so that right consciousness can be, right consciousness can remain at the time of the death. So it is like we have to start planning now. All the do's and don'ts that are given are subservient to the principle that we should always remember Krishna, because death can come anytime. And that means we have to be prepared. We have to be prepared always. So what do we do? And when we hear devotee departing, it puts this theory right in front of our eyes. Like the theory comes to reality. That now think, introspect. It can come to any one of us anytime. I didn't mean to scare you, but that is the reality of life. So what do we do? What do we? How should we react? How should we respond? How should we increase our intensity? I think increasing the intensity is the answer. Kadam Kanand Maharaj is in one of his blog said that with the passing of time, we have to increase our intensity. With the time we upgrade our phone, our car, our house, all our material belongings. In the same way, we have to increase our efforts into our spiritual practices. The efforts that we used to take 2 years in our spiritual practices may not be enough now. We have to do more. We have to focus more. We have to read more. We have to hear more. In Bhagavatam, there is a verse, akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udarati tivrena bhakti yogena yajate purusham param. Tivrena bhakti yogena. That means one needs to have the intense desire, tivra bhakti yogena, to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to worship Sri Krishna. This was one time Srila Prabhupada, he was coming out, so Tivrena Bhakti Yogena, so increasing the intensity is one way for preparing ourselves. And how do we increase it? One way of increasing is by increasing quantity. So that means we undertake more services, we chant more, we read more, we do more, we give more time than what we are already giving. Srila Prabhupada one time was coming out of the plane, and as soon as he walked out of the plane, whoever was present there to receive Srila Prabhupada, everyone actually bowed down at the feet of Srila Prabhupada. A servant standing next to Srila Prabhupada, he was totally amazed, and he says to Srila Prabhupada, how amazing it is that everyone is bowing down to you. And Srila Prabhupada in response says that, all bow down to me because I have conquered the lust. So that is the power of purity. That it awakens a faith in a devotee. And later, actually, Srila Prabhupada says this to his servant, that it is not the lust that I have conquered, but it is actually that I have no time for lust. So at that moment, that servant devotee realizes what he has to do. He has to increase the quantity of devotional service. So that means there is no gap in our lives, and it is full of devotional service. There is no gap in our life. There is no opportunity for lust to arise. It is, I know, it is easier said than done, but at least we can try. Another Another way is, okay, one may argue, but I probably when I had that thought, I counter argue myself only that I have no time. I have already filled all the gaps that I have. Then what can I do? Then increase the quality, and this is the verse it talks about, quality versus quantity. That whatever services we are doing, we increase our absorption, we increase our attention to detail, we put deep thoughts in whatever offering that we make to Krishna. Simple example that I can think of, that most of us here in the assembly chant 16 rounds, or some of us probably chant more than that. We can try and increase the intensity by chanting all the round in the morning before 7 o'clock. If we are doing that already, then maybe we can try and focus and listening all mantra. Hear all mantra. Sachinandan Maharaj, in his book called Broken Names, he says that when we struggle to focus, just focus on the first Hare of the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Just focused on first Hare, and the rest will become easier to follow. And the rest of the mantra you can easily focus on. And so just try that one and repeat. And this is, as I share with everyone, this applies to me also, because when I sit and start chanting, it is like a playground of mind. It wants to go everywhere but to think about Krishna. So we have to keep our mind bringing back to the mantra. Another way, or a third way of increasing intensity, is accepting difficult services. Now, how do we understand accepting difficult services? What does that mean? It means services that requires us to make more sacrifices. Accepting services, that requires us to go deeper, a deeper level of selflessness, that requires us to fully depend upon Krishna. For example, if one is struggling to wake up early, then accepting a service like Mangala Aarti. Attending Mangala Aarti, Viraj Krishna Prabhu often encourages devotee, all the time encourages devotee actually, to attend Mangala Aarti on Sunday. Maybe make a vow that every Sunday I go for a Mangala Aarti. So it is sacrificing your morning time. It is sacrificing your one's morning sleep. But by undertaking that sacrifice, we come closer to Krishna. The intensity increases, because when we go and attend Mangala Aarti, we see the environment that is so spiritually surcharged that once you're there, you don't feel like coming out. Yes, once we are there, we feel like, oh, this is the perfection. And when we take those services, I remember when I had a thought of this point, I was thinking was actually Sneha Bhakti and Sanatan Prabhu. They had the yoga festival recently, and they have taken up the service to please their guru. They have taken up the service to please Srila Prabhupada. Now, coming up with the festival, yoga festival like that, it's not easy. They have they have gone through so much of sacrifice. It requires a selflessness. So taking up a service taking up a more difficult service is also a one way to increasing our intensity. Taking up a responsibility, another way to increase our intensity. Taking up a responsibility for spiritual journey of other individuals. Of course, we are responsible for our own journey, but that means we try and go and preach other. And again, it is not easy when we take up these responsibility of a spiritual journey of others. That means it requires more intense prayer, it requires intense chanting, it requires it requires intense sadhana, dependence upon Guru and Srila Prabhupada on Krishna, that, hey Krishna, dear Krishna, please help me, I am trying my best to do this, please help me. So these are the four ways where, how we can increase our intensity. The common thing or the problem is that we have the tendency to become a mediocre, or a mediocrity creeps in, when all these things are not increasing. And Keshav Maharaj in one of his classes mentions that 80% of the devotee in any spiritual organization tend to remain at the mediocre level. And why is that? Because it is uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable to come from a mediocre level or to progress further, because it requires lots of discipline. And there is a quote by Sachinanda Maharaj that he says that the pain of a discipline is more comfortable, but the pain of a regret is unbearable. That means sometimes we shy away for a discipline because it's uncomfortable. And so in order to avoid that uncomfortable situation, what we do, we don't undertake the service, or we don't do whatever spiritual activity that needs to be done. We fall short of our potential, and then we regret. And the best example again is chanting in the morning. We sometimes we feel that, oh, it's a 4 o'clock and I have to wake up again for a chanting, let me just sleep in. And the day we try to sleep in and wake up late, say even at 6 o'clock, our chanting is not done properly. Activities during the day are all disturbed because of chanting is not properly. And then the regret that we have, or the pain of the pain of not doing things properly, pain of not chanting properly, is more painful or more uncomfortable than waking up early. So when we talk about these increasing, when we talk about these ways of increasing intensity, but we also have to remember one thing, that um, it is possible. We also have to remember that it requires a lot of determination. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, chapter 20, verse 27, 28 says that Jata Shraddho Mat Kathasu Nirvina Sarva Karmashu Veda Dukhatmata Kaman Parityago Pineshwara Tato Bhajate Mam Prita Shraddha Dhrada Nishchaya Janmashutana Kaman Dukhat Kamoscha Garhayan. Means that, okay, we as a devotee, so this is the translation, that having awakened faith in the narration of my glories, being disgusted with all material activities, knowing that all sense gratification leads to misery, but being still unable to renounce all sense enjoyment. So this is kind of, I could relate to this verse, that we all have, I have faith in the narration of the holy name. I have the faith in the narration of the Lord. I also realize that material activities is not something that we enjoy, and of course there is some disinterest in all these activities, and also know that, and indulging on these activities is going to lead misery, but I'm still unable to renounce all the sense enjoyment completely. So this I can relate to myself, and I believe all of you there probably are relate to it to some extent as well. So then the later verse says that my devotee should remain happy, worship me with a great faith and conviction that even though he sometimes engages in sense enjoyment, he knows that all sense gratification leads to miserable result, and he sincerely repents on such activities. So basically it says, even if we fall down, because it requires a lot of determination, even if we fall down, it is not a problem as long as we pick up ourselves and keep going forward. The famous analogy that we might have heard, it's that chanting of the holy name or pursuing one's spiritual path is like a driving is like a pilot, is like a driving a mine, is like a pilot. An expert pilot, when a flight goes from destination A to B, the path is already decided, but it is only 20% of the time that the flight follows the exact path. 80% of the time, it is actually out of the path. And the expert pilot, what he does, he actually keeps bringing the flight on the path that he's supposed to be. So we also need to be an expert pilot like that. We know we have given instruction, we know what is to be done, and because of our past attachment, it is possible that we will fall down, but we keep bringing ourselves. My Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Chandradamna Maharaj, he he go all over the world for preaching, and he met one of the spiritual leader. I can't recall the place, where was it, but he met one of the spiritual leader in one of the faith, and he asked him a question that, in your spiritual path, what do you do if someone falls down? And the leader of that faith answers to my Guru Maharaj that if they fall 9th time, we pick up them 10th time and move on. So with the intention of increasing intensity, we do realize that it is possible that we fall down, but we pull ourselves back and we keep going. I realize we are 2 minutes over 7 o'clock. I would pause here, and if anyone has any question or comments or correction, please feel free to unmute and share.
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranams. Many years ago, when our god brother passed away, His Holiness, His Grace, Hari Bhajan Prabhu, then Bhagavad Ashar Prabhu, who's Srila Prabhupada's disciple, he was here. And
Bhagavatam ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Krishna willing, we'll see you again all tomorrow for our glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam.
No.
Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. Swahamata is saying something. Rajdeepika, can you hear?
Hare Krishna. Sorry. I was just saying that Bhagavad Ashar Prabhu was present when one of our god brothers passed away many years ago. And he said, when a devotee is about to pass, we pray for his journey back to Godhead. But when he has already passed away, we pray to the devotee so that he gives us mercy, this devotee who has passed away, that we have his qualities, his determination, his mood to serve Krishna, because we are sure that Krishna has taken him. So that was one of the things, that when devotees are about to pass, we pray for their journey. When they pass away already, we pray to them for their mercy.
Hare Krishna
And
Mataji, Swaha Mataji,
yes,
we are able to hear you.
We can hear Swaha Mataji.
Yes, we can all hear. Yes.
Can anyone hear Swaha Mataji, or is it only me?
Yes, yes. I think it's just you. We all can hear.
Oh, okay.
And there's another thing, Mataji, how you mentioned about being absorbed in service when we talk about Trivena Bhakti Yogena. So I always like Chaitanya Charan Prabhu's comment, one-liner. And his one-liner is, we always prioritize service. We say, be absorbed in service, get absorbed in service. And he also says, now we can add more. He said, it is also service to be absorbed. So when we are chanting, when we are reading, it's service to be absorbed. So that was very nice for you to bring that point, Mataji.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Mataji. I think I've turned the volume down of my computer, so I could not hear everything. But what you have said at the end, that it is also a service to be absorbed, it is very nice. Thank you for sharing that.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Any other devotee would like to add anything?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Today's class was really amazing, and I think I needed to hear this morning because I was so distracted this morning while praying. Thank you so much for the class.
Thank you, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Okay. Hare Krishna, Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Krishna willing, we see you all again tomorrow.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you very
Hare
much.
Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.